All right, so a very warm good evening to everyone. Once again, this is Randeep from STEM and Space. Along with me, I have Garvit sir who has joined. And today we welcome you all back to a very fun and exciting quiz, which is a revision or a review of the masterclass that we had a couple of weeks ago. So today, finally, we are having a masterclass review quiz for grades 4th and 5th. That's because for grades 4th, 5th, and 6th, we have the NAC Olympiad, which is coming up on 31st of January, just a couple days from now. So make sure that you are actually prepared well. Make sure you revise all the concepts. And if by chance you have missed the master classes, so make sure that you go to our Spacetopia page in the video section. You can find the masterclass for grades 4th and 5th. Grade 6th and 7th masterclass was also conducted. So 6th grade students can also do that. The Kahoot quizzes, which we are doing, is in a fashion or is in the same fashion in which we are doing the master classes. So that is the reason that we have the master class review quiz for grades 4th and 5th today. Okay, so do not get alarmed if we have not mentioned 6th grade. So if we have 6th grade students, if they want to join, they can join today. But I recommend that let's keep this quiz fair and square for students of grade 4th and 5th, students who will be appearing for the grade 4 and grade 5 papers of the NAC Olympiad. So it will be a good revision and a review for them. So I'm sure that most of you are already acquainted with the way in which we conduct our Kahoot quizzes. But just if by chance, if I have somebody who is joining for the first time, let me just give you a quick tour of what is going to happen. So on your Spacetopia homepage, I'm sure that you are signed up, and that is the reason that you're watching it live. On the top right corner, you can see your profile section. You will be able to see your profile picture over there. Once you click on it, you can see your profile section. When you click on the profile section, you can see your full name, whatever name you have. Okay, even if it's Albert Einstein or whatever it is. Okay, so whatever is your full name, you can find it right in your Spacetopia profile. Just use that full name or copy that full name, because that's the same name that you have to enter in the Kahoot quiz. So we'll be sharing the link as well as the QR code for joining the Kahoot quiz just a couple of minutes from now. Once you get that link, once you go to that, you will be able to enter the nickname. It will ask for your nickname. So although it says do not use your real name, we strongly suggest you use your real name. Otherwise, if by chance you win the quiz at the end, we won't be able to identify you properly. Okay. So although we do not have any particular prizes or rewards for this particular Kahoot, this is mainly meant for your revision and mainly meant for the purpose that you will get an overview of the different types of questions that can be asked in the NAC Olympiad. So a few days ago, the NAC Olympiad was conducted for the senior grades, that is for grades 7th, 8th, and 9th. If somebody from those grades is watching, I hope the Olympiad went well and we wish you all the best for your results. For the remaining grades, that is grade 4th, 5th, and 6th, the NAC Olympiad is going to be conducted on 31st of January, as I said earlier. So make sure that you are aware of the dates. So once you have entered your nickname, you can click and you will be in the quiz, and you need to stay on this particular page. Okay, do not click on achievements or do not think that you are, questions are not coming. Questions will start coming once I start the quiz from my end. Now that's where the trick comes in. I'm sure that most of you are aware by now, but just for people who are joining for the first time, make sure that you have two devices. We have mentioned the same in the description of this video as well, that you need two devices, one in which you are watching the session right now, that is you're watching my screen, the screen which I have shared, but you need another device, a phone or a tablet or even a laptop, whatever you want, just so that you can join the quiz from that device, because the questions will actually be visible to you on only my screen. On your screen, only the color options will be visible. The options themselves will also not be visible, only the colored boxes will be visible. Okay, so all the questions and the options will be visible only on my screen. So you will need two devices. so that you are able to see the questions and the options from my screen, and you are able to put your response, that is your answer, through the other device through which you have joined the Kahoot. So in the last session also, some kids were having a lot of confusion. So make sure that one device is for looking at the questions and the options on my screen, and the other device is for putting down your answers on whatever question is coming. Okay, but by chance, if you are having just one device, that is a one computer or laptop, you can also use split screen if you are aware of that. Okay, so you can use two different browsers, one browser on which you are already running this particular session, on the other browser you can join the Kahoot. But the most convenient way is to just get two devices just for like 20-25 minutes, so that you can properly get into the Kahoot quiz. So well, with that, with all the instructions cleared up, let's move on to the Kahoot quiz itself. So, for this Kahoot, here is the QR code to join today's Kahoot quiz. I'm enlarging the QR code for all of you. You can also find the link to join this quiz in the Spacetopia live chat. People who are watching us through YouTube, make sure that we are not responding to the messages on YouTube live chat. Okay, we are only responding to the messages, or we are only monitoring the live chat on Spacetopia platform. So if you have any queries, anything to ask, anything to respond, or if you just like to casually chat, make sure that you are signed up on Spacetopia and you are chatting on our Spacetopia live chat. So you can find the link to join this quiz in the Spacetopia live chat, or you can also scan the QR code to join. Now I can see there's a huge influx of students this time, especially because I find it's so fascinating to see most of you very excited for such kind of quizzes, very excited for this NAC Olympiad exam which is coming up. So I really hope that your preparations are going well. Okay, so I can see that there are over 100 and almost 140 students who have already joined. So we are going to wait till 6:40 as of now. So right at 6:40, I will start with the quiz. I hope that all of you actually join by the 6:40 p.m. mark. Okay. So somebody in the chat is also asking, please instruct me. So Jan Mitu, I believe. So Jan Mitu, just click on the link on the live chat or scan this QR code to join the quiz. What I was saying is that you need two devices for this quiz. On one device, in one which you are looking at my screen right now, the shared screen, which you can see the QR code and everything. Join the quiz from any another device, like another smartphone or a tablet, because on my screen, you will be able to see the questions and the options. On the other device through which you are joining the Kahoot, on that only the colored options will be present. So you'll be not able to see the options. Instead, you will be able to see only colors, red, blue, green, yellow, and you'll have to choose the right colored option. So that is why two devices are actually required. So we've already got almost 200 participants as of now, I believe. So I think we are quite close to actually joining up the quiz. So that's great to see. I'll just scroll through the name list. Now I can see there are several different students who have actually joined using hi, hello, and all this. So I hope that you all actually rename yourselves, because by chance, if you win the quiz, then we won't be able to identify, and nobody will be able to actually know somebody named Hi has actually won the quiz. So what's the point of boasting that, right? So make sure that you are actually able to join the quiz through your own name. So I can see almost all of you have actually joined. So yeah. So even if I'm scrolling through this list, there are some people whose names might not be visible. So don't worry if your name is not visible. If you have entered the quiz and if you are able to see the achievement section, then you can rest assured that you have actually joined the quiz. Okay. So it's already 6:39. As soon as the clock sticks the 6:40 mark, we are going to start with the quiz. Just to give up a quiz vibe, let me just turn up the volume. So now that it's 6:40, I believe that most of you are now ready for this Quizit Masterclass review, grade 4 and 5. So I can already see that everyone has actually joined. So let's begin with today's quiz. I can see a couple of you actually leaving off. So make sure that you do not leave the quiz. Otherwise, then you will not be able to rejoin again. Okay. I'll just wait for a minute more. I will wait till 6:41. At 6:41, we'll start the quiz because I can see few of you still are asking that you are not able to join. Yeah, so somebody is asking the quiz pin. The quiz pin you can see on my screen. It is 2124609. Okay. So if you are facing any error in joining, you can just refresh the link and you will be able to join again. Okay. Just make sure you're refreshing the link. All right. So I can see, yeah, type your nickname. Yeah, it will always show type your nickname, but you actually have to enter your real name, the same name which you have on your Spacetopia, preferably.
Sir, can you also tell the method of going to kahoot.it and entering the campaign?
Oh, yes, sure, sure. So since some of you are facing the issue, I can see. So there is another way by which you can actually join the quiz. So meanwhile, while I will just, just escape from here and let the quiz remain active. For people who are actually joining by using the link, you can use a website called kahoot.it. So you can manually type in kahoot.it. And when you click on it, you will be redirected to the Kahoot website. And here you can enter the game pin, the same game pin that is 2124609. So when you enter this game pin and click on enter, you will be actually entering this quiz directly, and it will again ask you to enter your nickname. That means over there you have to enter your full name, the same name that you have on the Spacetopia platform. So once you enter that name, you will be able to enter into the quiz, and your name will probably be visible in this list. Although this list may not be exhaustive, sometimes your name might not be visible. Okay. Since there are almost 200 participants, so it might happen that your name is not visible. Okay, so do not worry if your name is not visible. So somebody is saying that you are facing reconnection issue. People who are saying that you are facing reconnection issue, it might have happened just because of the fact that you might not have refreshed. What you can do is that you can refresh the link once again. Either you can scan this QR code or you can click on the link that has been shared in the live chat. So I'm enlarging the QR code once again. And once again, yeah, I strongly recommend people of grades 4 and 5 only to join this particular quiz. As if senior kids are joining, I think they will be able to answer it, but then it might not be very fair for grades students of grades 4 and 5. So I strongly suggest that students of grade 4 and 5 only join the quiz, and it will become a good revision for all of you. Also, yeah, so somebody is asking, can we join the quiz after the live class? So once the live session is done, we'll share a link to this quiz in the description. So in the same description of this video, you will find a link after the session. And using that link, you can actually play the same quiz in a self-paced manner. So you won't be competing live with anyone because the live will end. However, you can do it self-paced. That means the timers will be there and you will be competing with yourself, and it will record it in the system. Okay, so just for the purpose of review, just for the purpose of getting awareness about the different questions, what you can do is that you can actually use that link as well after the live session is done. Okay, so that link will be updated in the description. So it's already 6:44 and I can see there are over 150 people who have joined. I think many people might have joined with multiple devices, so some people have left. So let's wait till 6:45 and we'll immediately begin the quiz as soon as the clock strikes 6:45. I hope you all are ready. So it's 6:45. We have waited enough. So let's begin with today's quiz. If by chance somebody is not able to join, you can play it later or you can use our self-paged link after our live session as well. So wish you all the best and let's start with today's quiz. So quiz it up masterclass review for grade 4 and 5. Let's look at the first question. Our universe is really big and constantly expanding. What is its age based on our current understanding of the universe? And the correct answer is 13.7 billion years old, which most of you have actually answered correctly, although a great majority of you have actually answered incorrectly. So do remember that based on the current understanding of our universe, the age of the universe is 13.7 billion years old or about 14 billion years old. The number varies a little bit, but it surely isn't anywhere close to 9, 18, or 4.6 billion years. So 53 people have actually answered correctly. And I hope with the first question, people who are joining for the first time, they have got an idea how this quiz is being conducted. You are looking at the questions and the options on my screen, and you are answering through the colored options on your screen. Just make sure that you answer quickly because the faster your option, the more points you get. And that's what brings us to the points table. This is how the scoreboard looks like after the first question, but we have 15 more questions to go. So it's a long journey. Let's see that how it goes. Let's move on to the next question. Which planet in our solar system would float if it could be placed on a huge reservoir of water? And well, with that, the correct answer is, of course, Saturn, which again, a majority of you have answered correctly. Saturn indeed is, of course, a very unique planet. And despite being the second largest planet of our solar system, its density is quite less. And that is the reason that if somehow you could actually get Saturn to put on a huge water tank, it would literally float on water. Although that's not going to happen in reality, but it's fun to think about, isn't it? Well, this is how the scoreboard looks like after the second one. But since it keeps changing as we move on through the questions, I'm going to quickly go through the scoreboard as we move along. Let's move on to the next question. Which day of every year marks the longest day in the Northern Hemisphere? And the correct answer is actually summer solstice. So these are four important phases of our Earth. That means four important days in our entire year when the position of the Earth with respect to the sun is something special, something different from all the other days. So if you look at the summer solstice, it is that day which falls usually between June 20 and June 22. This day is the day of the year when the Earth, or that portion of the Earth which is closer to the sun, receives sunlight for the maximum amount of time throughout the day. So the daytime becomes maximum and the night time becomes minimum on that particular day, that is summer solstice. Okay, so that is the reason that this particular day marks the longest day in the northern hemisphere. Do let me know that which will then be the longest night or the shortest day in the northern hemisphere out of these four. Do let me know in the chat if you are able to actually answer live. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. For double points this time, the rocket works on action reaction principle, where the action is engine pushing the gases downward and the reaction is. And the correct answer is gases pushing the rocket upward. That's absolutely correct. Although a good majority of people have answered differently as well. People who have answered fuel pushing the rocket upward, do remember fuel does not push the rocket upward. The fuel gets burnt, due to which the gases are produced, and the gases are actually pushing the rocket upward. So that's what is happening, and that's how the action reaction principle actually works. And of course, gravity pulls it down. So there is no way that gravity can push the rocket upward in the opposite direction. There's no role of nozzle in that principle either. So the correct answer is gases pushing the rocket upward. And since this was for double points, I believe people who have answered correctly must have climbed way above in the leaderboard. Let's move on to the next question. This constellation looks like an M or a W and helps you find directions in the night sky. Identify it from the image. And the correct answer is Cassiopeia, which again, many of you have answered correctly. That's good to see. This M or a W shape, depending on the way in which you're looking at the night sky, is actually a very important constellation, especially during the winter months, when it actually helps you to find the pole star in the night sky. So if you look at this wider angle, angle, which if you are aware, it's called as obtuse angle. So if you look at this wider W, then you have to basically bisect or divide this wider W into half, and that bisector or the half line gradually takes you and points towards the pole star, or also called as the Polaris. And that pole star always shows you the north direction. Once you know the north, you know the other directions. So, well, let's move on to the next question. The upcoming Gaganyaan mission aims to carry Indian astronauts to dash around the Earth. And the correct answer is low Earth orbit, which is located at about 400 kilometers from the mean sea level, that is from the Earth's surface. So low Earth orbit is the orbit on which the Gaganyaan mission will carry our Indian astronauts. They will have a nice round about the Earth and they will come back and they will gain a lot of different amount of information and data based on which we can conduct our future Gaganyaan missions. So that's what is going to happen. Now, I can see that in the chat also, some people are saying that the timer is starting early. So that's what will happen. That's what I mentioned earlier as well. But do not worry. Most of these questions will require just 5 to 10 seconds of your attention, while most of these questions have been allotted 30 to 40 seconds just to counter against the time lag between my screen and between the Kahoot options that is coming on your secondary device through which you have joined the Kahoot. So do not worry. Just make sure that you are answering as soon as possible, as soon as you are actually seeing the question and you are able to decide the answer. But again, do not hurry. Try to actually correctly answer each question. Well, with that, let's move to the seventh question. It is a typing one. Unscramble the given word. So since this is a typing based question, we have allotted extra 20 seconds for this particular question itself. It's completely fine if you submit it in capital letters or small letters, but make sure that you are unscrambling and putting in the correct answer while submitting. Well, the correct answer, if which many of you have actually answered, that's great, and that is Polaris, which I was just talking about. Polaris or Pole Star is actually the one which helps us find directions in the night sky. You can again detect it with the help of the Cassiopeia constellation, for which we looked at the image just a question ago. So many of you might have answered in complete, small letters as well. So that is also completely fine. That is also regarded as a correct answer. The correct answer is Polaris, which is the name for the pole star. So, well, with that, let's move to the eighth question for double points now. Which is the only moon in our solar system with active volcanoes? And the correct answer is actually Io, which some people have only been able to answer. Many people have answered Titan and Ganymede as well. And well, those moons are actually quite famous. However, they are not the ones which have any active volcanoes. Io is the only moon. And also, let me know in the chat if you know which planet's moon is Io. There is a very specific, specialty about Io as well. Okay. So that is the only moon which has active volcanoes in our solar system. Let's move to the next question. A planet in our solar system has two tiny moons, Phobos and Deimos, zipping around it. Which planet is it? So it's great to see that a majority of you have actually answered correctly, and the correct answer is Mars, which has two fine, nicely made moons. These are Phobos and Deimos, which keep zipping around it. And some people are also responding to us in the live chat. So yeah, that is absolutely correct. People who have actually answered Mars is correct. So some people have also answered Jupiter, I believe, for the previous question that which planet's moon is Io. So Io is one of the moons of Jupiter. And the speciality is that it is one of the Galilean moons. That means one of those moons which was initially discovered by Galileo, one of the four moons. So that's what it is. Let's move on to the 10th question now. Approximately how much time does light from the sun take to reach Earth? And the correct answer, which majority of you have again answered, is 8 minutes. I believe people who have actually answered 8 seconds must have mistabbed this particular option, because I have deliberately kept it just below 8 minutes so that you can actually mistap it. So the correct answer is actually 8 minutes. Precisely 8 minutes and 20 seconds, but approximately is what mentioned in the question. So yeah, it takes about 8 minutes for the light from the sun to reach the earth. Well, let's move to the next one. Dash completes one rotation around its own axis in just 9.9 hours, thereby being the fastest spinning planet. And the correct answer is Jupiter, which again, many of you have answered correctly. Some people have answered Mercury, I believe, just because of the fact that Mercury is very small and it's very close to the sun. So probably it will just be the fastest spinning planet. Well, that is the beauty of our universe. Jupiter, despite being so massive, being the biggest planet in our solar system, is actually also the fastest spinning planet, completing its rotation about its own axis in less than 10 hours. So that's absolutely fascinating, isn't it? Well, that's how the scoreboard looks like now. Let's move to the 12th question for double points. Which of the following properties of the planets has been shown in the graph below? So for people who might face a bit of difficulty in looking at this graph, let me just quickly interpret it for you. So there are four planets for which this graph has been drawn: for Venus, Earth, Mars, and Mercury. For Venus, the number is somewhere around 460 to 470. For Earth, it's somewhere near about 15 to 20. For Mars, just over 60. And for Mercury, it's near about 170. So, which property of these planets has been shown in the graph? What are these numbers? And well, it's great to see that a majority of you have actually answered correctly, and that's the average surface temperature. Since it was for double points, I believe that you must have received a lot of points for correctly answering this question. Do remember, it's the average surface temperature of these planets, and it, of course, also suggests how high the average surface temperature of Venus is. In fact, that is the reason that Venus is actually the hottest planet of our solar system, and not Mercury, again winning against the race among the planets. Despite being closest to the sun, Mercury is not the hottest planet. Venus is actually the hottest planet of our solar system. Okay. So with that, let's move to the 13th question. The Axiom 4 mission, comprising Dash astronauts, made Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla the first Indian to visit the ISS. Oh, so that's a very nice and attractive pattern in which you all have answered. So it's an increasing order. Least amount of people answering one, then we have two, then we have three, and finally four, which is actually the correct answer. This particular mission comprised four astronauts, which included Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla, and he became the first Indian to actually visit the ISS through this particular mission, that is the Axiom 4 mission. It was all over the news throughout 2025, so why not have a question on Axiom 4? Well, let's move to the next question, which is a true or false. Blue stars are hotter while red stars are colder. Well, there is quite a good mix of answers between true or false. I also found that some people are not answering. So, this is anyway a fun quiz. So you do not have to give a lot of thought into, answering. Just read the question. Anyway, I'm announcing it. Just think about it and put on your answer. If the timer is about to end, just put in any answers because there is no negative marking anyway, right? Well, the correct answer for this particular question anyway is true. That's the beauty of our universe. Blue stars are actually hotter while red stars are colder. Usually, red color means hot and blue color means cold, but that's something else. It does not happen in our universe. For when it comes to our stars, then as the star's temperature increases, its color actually shifts to whitish and eventually to bluish, which represents the hottest stars in the universe. Well, with that, let's move on to the penultimate question. Which of the following is the approximate surface temperature of our sun? And the correct answer is 5,500 degrees Celsius. Some people have answered 15 million, which is actually the temperature of the core of the sun, while the question asks for the surface temperature. Somebody is also asking regarding one of the few questions that Dragon capsule can carry only 3 astronauts. That is correct, excluding the pilot. Since our group captain Shubhanshu Shukla was the pilot, there were a total of 4 astronauts. So this is how the scoreboard looks like, and we still have one more question to go. Let's see if that can change your fate. Let's move on to the final question, which is a puzzle rearrangement for double points. Sort these planets by size, starting from the supersized and going to the tiny ones. So here you have to literally drag the options and arrange them in such a way that you have the largest planets on the top and you have the smallest ones or the smaller ones at the bottom. So big to small. So, well, this question, since it was a puzzle based, it gives you points based on the number of options that you have correctly sorted. So if you have sorted all the options correctly, you will get full points, again, based on the time in which you have sorted them. However, even if you have partially been able to sort them, you will get points for those partial sorting as well, if that is correct. Okay. So, well, that's what brings us to the end of today's quiz. Let's look at the podium. On third position, we have Advait Sharma. On second position, we have Advait Bhosle. And on first position with over 15,000 points, we have Sritam Burra. Absolutely fascinating. And we have Advait Gupta and Shubhams as well as the runners-up. And of course, we have other people as well who are on the podium, of course. So there is nothing to be worried about if your name hasn't come up on the podium. Let me just reduce the volume a bit. I believe that might actually cut off my voice itself. So there is nothing to be worried about if your name has not come up on the podium, if it's not among the runner-ups either, because your face is anyway, it is there. And most importantly, this quiz was mainly meant for revision and also for just giving you a glimpse of the variety of questions that might come up in your upcoming NAC Olympiad. So, well, with that, what we are going to do is that we are going to soon, in just the next few minutes, we are going to provide you a link. I will just, stop sharing this particular screen and I will take you back to our presentation. Yeah. So we'll start sharing, we'll share. So, well, congratulations to everyone who participated. So, thank you so much, first of all, for this enthusiastic participation in today's quiz. So, I hope that that has given you a good amount of knowledge and information and an awareness about the different types of questions that can be asked in this upcoming NAC Olympiad. And You can follow us on our social media handles by scanning this QR code. And if you have any questions, any problems, any doubts, or anything regarding space science astronomy or any of our programs, you can contact us at hello@stemandspace.com. So, as I was saying before, and we have also mentioned it in the chat before as well, that a self-paged link for this same quiz will be provided to you in the description in the next few minutes. You can just refresh the page or you can come back after a couple of minutes. You'll be able to find the link to that Kahoot quiz in the description. So you can play it self-paged. You won't be needing, again, my host screen or anything for that. And once again, congratulations to all the winners. Now, before we wrap up today's session, let me just quickly give you a glimpse of something which can really help you in this upcoming NAC Olympiad. Now, we have already repeatedly told you and suggested various things which you can use to prepare for this particular Olympiad. But let me just give you a quick tour of one of the very interesting ebooks that we actually have. So many of you have already got this particular ebook, which must be very helpful to you by now. You must have understood that. But people who have not yet got this ebook, you can go to this ebooks and comics session on our Spacetopia platform and you can click on NAC study material. Alternately, you have an NAC tag which is hanging at the top. You can click on study material directly, and that will directly take you to this particular page. Here you will be able to find the ebooks for various grades. Based on your grade, whether it is fourth, fifth, or sixth, you can just click on it and you can get that ebook for yourself. If there are less credits on your profile, you can get some credits using the buy option at the top. And trust me, this ebook can be really helpful in your final preparation and revision for your NAC Olympiad, as it encircles and covers up all the different important topics that are really necessary for this NAC Olympiad. So, just to give an icing on the top for your preparation for NAC, make sure that you go and get access to these ebooks so that you can maximize your chances of actually winning this NAC Olympiad on the national level. So, well, with that, I hope that you all enjoyed this particular quiz and you all have now got a good idea about the variety of questions as well. If somebody by chance has not been able to attend the quiz, as I have announced earlier as well, you can use the self-paged link, which will be in the description of this video itself. So you can use that to actually revise once again. So thank you all so much for joining. I hope to see you again in the next one. Till then, wish you all the best for your upcoming NAC Olympiad. I hope to see you all very soon in the next one. So good night and